Jen, your pudgy picker, here at my desk, but I don't have a haul for you today. I have something a little bit cooler. Speaking of cooler, it's still pretty hot outside, but if you are a booth owner or you resell anything of any kind, you're always kind of looking toward the next season. So I'm going to show you this little how-to that I found forever ago on YouTube. And then during the year, I'm looking for these supplies during the year, and then I find them at thrift stores. So these items, they don't really cost me that much at all to make. So let me show you what I have and what you're going to need for this project. So these are the most cutest little pumpkins that ever existed, and they're in many different colors. These two are not done yet, so but I have, so this is like a gray, thicker, and this is like a oatmeal. It's got little different colors in it. We have white, we have off-white, we have green, light green, dark green, and an orange. So yeah, that's what we're going to be making today. I have a lot of them made. So I mentioned in a different video that we were out of power. So guess what I was doing? I was making pumpkins. So let's start and we'll show you how to do this. So now that you've seen the adorableness that are my little pumpkins that I make, I'm going to show you how to make them so you can make them too. Now, this one is pretty much a basic yarn. I mean, it's not real thin, but you can go anywhere from this to this thickness. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So during the year, I know I make these every year. I just find yarn, and I found this. I had 2 of these. And you know what? It's funny, when you were a kid, it's like, well, here's some crayons. You know, show us what a pumpkin looks like. It's orange, right? It's nice nowadays. There's so many different color ones. There's even like green, darker green, like a mossy minty green. There's different colors of beige, and it's so neat to see so many different colors. And then that means that I can buy different color yarn and make a whole bunch of these. So the first thing you're going to need is yarn. Now you're going to want a yarn that's a chunkier yarn. Now you can go this chunky, or you can just basically go with the thinner. So this is just basic what you would normally use, or just find yarn that isn't you know, smaller. So that's what you're going to need first. So pick it up in all the colors you think you'll find. It's going to be cheaper if you thrift it, because I'm a cheapskate, so that's what I did. So it's not like, hey, a new project, let's go buy everything new. That's not how I do it, because I resell these. Now, if you're going to do this, or you want to sit down with your kids and do it, it's really a fun activity, and it's very seasonal, and you can give these to you know, the kids could do this with teachers, all kinds of fun things. So what you're going to need besides the yarn is you're going to need chocolate hazelnut. No, this is my thing I have all my sticks in. So like I said, we had a tornado touchdown last week, and lost some trees in the neighborhood. My neighbor's tree kind of hangs over my yard, so there was lots of branches down. So I was able to find lots and lots of sticks. So depending on how big they are, you know, certain ones would look better. If you had this little thin one on a thick, it wouldn't look right. So kind of just, you know, get them and then break them. And they're about, what, like 1.5 inches? Yeah, like 1.5 inches long. So basically that's what it's going to look like. So I always have lots of... Now, usually if the branches are kind of brittle, you could just kind of break them. Or if I think it looks kind of neater to have them, you know, just broken off rather than cut. But you can cut them, and that's fine too. So again, you have some that are bent, some that are straight and gnarly. A couple of these have like an extra little branch on them. So you can kind of do what you want to do. There's one with like a V top. Actually, it's got 3 little pokies on there. So that, you're going to need, of course, a pair of scissors, raffia, which I usually have, let's see, I have a big bag of it, so I've been using this one forever. And then also, there's many different colors, so you can use this more brown color, this is more natural, and there's even green. So, and I know there's other colors too, so you can kind of just, I don't know, do whatever you want to do. Okay, so, and then also I just cut, this is an old, what do you call it? File. So I cut it so that it's double thickness, and then it's going to be 2.5 inches this way, and then at least 2 inches wide this way. And then I have a place where once I have it on there, I could slide it off easily. So that's what you'll need for that. So that's the measurements. You're also going to need a glue gun. You can use regular glue, E6000 or whatever. You're going to have to just put, use it and then let it sit to dry overnight. I kind of like to do these really quick, so I go ahead and just use the glue gun. So let's start making these. It's going to be so much fun. So let's go. Okay, so you're pointed down here on my desk. I got my my glue gun plugged in, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make one of the pumpkins. So let's move all my little sticks aside. Now this is basically the thickness of this one. The smaller one, you're going to wrap this 50 times. This size one, you're going to do it about 25 to 26 times. And this one is going to be a lot less. So it's the thickness of it that depends on how many times you're going to wrap it. And you may have to just trial and error this to see. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of yarn that's about, I don't know, about a foot long. And then we're going to start wrapping this. So here's my card. And we're going to wrap this 26 times. I've been making a whole bunch of these, so I know this size. So we have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Don't wrap it real hard. You don't want to bend this. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Now this is about as wide as you're going to want it on this card. So then what you'll do is you'll turn it over and you'll snip that. If you want, you can kind of tuck it in a little bit. Now another thing when you're wrapping is you want to keep the pieces lined up this way. You don't want to be, going like this, because it's going to change the shape of your pumpkin. Now after you make a few of these, you'll be like, oh, okay, I see what she's saying. It makes sense. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this string out. And then very gently, I'm going to hold this, because you don't want it to spring apart. I'm going to pull that part out. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to lay it right in the center, okay? So let's do that. And then we're going to very carefully, see it's about in the center. You're going to tie it tight. Hold this down, and then you're going to try and hold it tight as you do a second knot. There. So there is the first one. Now you're going to want to cut it a little bit close here. As long as you've tied it twice, you should be good. And then see where the sides are where this is tied. You're going to kind of want to just put your little finger in there and straighten these out, so that you can kind of put it together. So it looks round. It doesn't look like, there's the back of it, by the way. So if you got a little piece sticking out, you're just going to make sure that so that's going to look like the ribs of the pumpkin. I don't like that one. I get very particular. So I'm going to stick my finger in there and a couple of them. And then I'll do it on this side, because a couple of these loops will get turned. And then you kind of just want to, mush around on it. Now you may have a little tail stick out here, and if you do, you can cut it short like that one, okay? So there's what it looks like. Now, it's funny, you can make these kind of flat. Another thing I like to do is kind of, you ever see the ones that are kind of like curved up on the side? So you could kind of play with it, but there's what it looks like. So the side that you tied it on is going to be the side that's up. Now you're going to pick an appropriate size little stick to go in there. And then what you're going to do is where next to that's tied, you're going to just kind of squish it down in there. And you could turn it a little and then make sure it's not sticking out. You want to kind of stand it up a little bit. Now, here's the tricky part. You gently take that out and kind of sort of where you have a hole. I'm going to put a little bit of glue in there. I'm sorry, my wire doesn't go far enough. So you're going to do that again. I mean, I kind of like just to see where I'm going to put it before I decide. And then you kind of just do that and then push it to kind of stand up. And there's what it looks like. So there's your pumpkin. Now you have a choice to make. You can leave it like this, you know, more natural looking. Or as I have done with these, is I put a little raffia on there. And then it kind of, I don't know, looks like the vines that it's on, however you want to do that. So I'm going to get my bag. And then what I do in here, I'm going to try not to drop you guys, is I kind of just reach into my bag and I'll pull out like a couple. You just kind of want to pull them free from the nest there. And then, yeah, this is about how much you want on there. So what you'll do is we'll trim that end. Give yourself a little room to work with. This stuff is so cheap, you're not going to worry about, oh, I'm wasting it. So what you'll do is, right about here, you're going to tie a knot. Let me do this end, because I haven't cut any of this. So you're going to do that, and then you're going to just kind of put it down there, and then you're going to tie it. Don't pull it too tight. Raffia is kind of dry. It might bust. And then once you got it tied on there, I'm going to kind of pull it up a little bit, and then I'm going to put a dot of glue right there. Okay? So use a little bit of glue. I got some strings. See where that little dot of glue is? Then I'm going to gently push that down. Now careful. Some of the ones I have are hot melt, and boy, if you get that on your skin, you will know about it. So you just hold it for a second, and then what you're going to do is cut off the excess, and then you're going to want to cut this as short as you want. I kind of do them on an angle. You can make them longer. I try to just make them toward the side of the pumpkin, and I do that. And then what you can do is you can kind of spread them out a little bit, you know, like that. And then this side I do the same thing. Now if you're not sure how long you want them, cut them a little long, and then, you know, you can kind of, after you cut them, you can sit there and look at it and say, And I'm telling you, that is it. That's all you gotta do. So there is your little pumpkin. As you tell, I already have a lot of these priced. I charge $1 for these. And this is the kind of thing you could just sit in the evening, watch a little bit of TV, and just whip these up. Now, sometimes you'll make them and they'll feel like sometimes like this one, I'm like, oh, look at that. It's like perfect. And then other times you get them and this looks a little wider than it is tall, and it's not quite lined up right. But I think that kind of adds to the charm of what they are. And I think that's adorable. So let's go ahead and we'll put a stick in this one. So I think we'll need a bigger stick, maybe that size or this gnarly looking one. That's why I have them in this container. So I got all different sizes and lengths. So depending on how heavy your yarn is, that's how it's going to be. So I think this one will look good. This is the top. Now I'm going to do this without doing a pilot hole. I'm just going to kind of spread that open a little bit, and I'm going to put a little dot of glue in there. So just put a little piece in there, and then I'm going to want to stick that in there. These are more fluffy, so it's a little easier to place the stick. So you kind of stand it up. You kind of want to center it as much as you can. And there's what it looks like. Now, again, let's take some more of this raffia. Now, if you get a couple pieces and they kind of look like this is kind of thin, you could just double it like this. So that what I'll do is I go ahead, you know, if you're doing that, wrestling it, just make the little, you know, knot first, and then I could even, let me stick the glue on the bottom there. This is nice too. If you do the raffia, it kind of hides this part that you've cut. So let's put that on there and then tighten it. And then kind of push it down a little bit. I got a little hot glue. Woof! Okay, so then what we're going to do here is, again, you're going to cut that. And then this one we're going to cut like that. And then, again, spread this out a little bit. So you get the idea. So as you start wrapping this, the thicker your yarn is, the least amount of wraps you're going to do. So I would say for these you could do 50. So as you tell, it kind of gets thick, and if you end up tying it and you're like, I really don't like it, you can just make them different. It's fine. This is not an exact science. It's kind of, you know, whatever your eye wants to see of these. So these are the two. This is the one we made from scratch. And then this is the one that I already made. Look at the size difference on those. So I'm sorry if this video was a little bit kind of wobbly. I'm trying to do more DIYs and more things for you guys to do. I know a lot of you, I asked previously, do you resell? And not a lot of you do, and that's fine. And I'm glad you come here to listen to me ramble. But stuff like this, I think anybody could make this, including kids. This would be a great thing to do as an activity. And you can have these, you know, you can like start doing like, you know, stacking them up or making them look different, or there's so many things you could do with these. You could even make a whole bunch of these and glue them on a wreath. So it doesn't have to just be an individual little pumpkin. And then what I do to stage them in my booth is I get really cute little baskets, and then I will lay all different colors in there so people can kind of dig through them. And then I'll have several of them just kind of sitting around by themselves so people can see that they can be fine by themselves as well. So let me finish this and sign off with you. So what do you guys think? Do you think you'll make these? They're really fun. And like I said, I've been looking for yarn pretty much for months whenever I go to the thrift store, and then I'll see a couple, and I can usually get a bag of a couple of skeins. Then I'll make like a whole bag of these for like just a few dollars. Sticks are free, and if you already have raffia or you just buy a little, you could even get that at the dollar store. And I think everybody has a glue gun, don't we? They're so handy, and it's nice because even if you use E6000, glue guns are nice to kind of use and set something, you know, put the regular glue on there and then use the glue gun just to kind of hold it together until that glue dries. That's a hint too. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Are you ready for fall? Especially if you're in an area that has the 4 seasons like I do here in Cleveland. I enjoy all 4 seasons, and I've even seen a few trees in the neighborhood just starting to, the early ones that got their leaves early, they're dropping a little bit early. So ready or not, fall is coming, and this is a great something you can just do and give away, and you don't have to have a lot of money to do any of these projects. Another cool thing you could do is you could even use these on a table setting for Thanksgiving. Wouldn't that be cute? You could have people's little card with their name on it, and they get to take it home. So yeah, lots of uses for these. Even if you come up with a different idea, leave it down below. I'd love to know. And thank you for tuning in to this DIY. I will see you guys next time. And until then, happy crafting.